Hello, good morning. How are you? I hope you're well. I'm doing well. I am just about to leave. I am about to start my second week at my placement. If you don't know, my name is Megan. I've just finished up a 1-year program studying to be a library technician, and I'm currently doing a 3-week placement at an archives, and I'm really having an amazing time. I love it so much. This is a writing vlog. I'm currently writing 2 projects. One is an adult fantasy book that focuses on dragons, and the other is a second book in adult fantasy series that I have written that is unpublished. It will be published one day. I just want to write more of the book series before I put it out there. This morning I focused on my dragon project, which has kind of been the main focus lately. I do really want to get back into balancing both projects. I've said that in the past few vlogs quite a bit, but I just have not been able to get there, and it's because life has been really busy. But I'm about to have a lot of time on my hands, because once I finish up this placement, I am pretty much done with everything and I just have to focus on applying for jobs. So I will have pretty full days to focus on writing, focus on applying to jobs, making my silly little videos on the internet. So today was a dragon project day, and I don't know how many words I've written. I'm actually really not done writing. I tend to go to the place a little bit early and I'll sit at my desk and do a little bit more writing there. So I will check in with you later and I'll let you know how writing went today. So far so good. I'm enjoying it. I am about to write the first battle of the book. Probably not today, but I'm about to write the first battle of the book, and it's going to be intense. So let's get into it. I hope you're cozy. If not, get cozy. It's going to be a good week. Let's have a great week. It's very dreary and cold, and I'm loving it. So it's a good Monday.
If you thought that you loved me, well, trust me, you didn't. The proof's in your lies and your toxic decisions. Temptation crept in, it didn't take much convincing. I'm not sure what love is, but I know what it isn't. Begging me to listen, say you learned your lesson.
Hello. I'm at a public park, so this is a little weird, but I hope you can hear me. It's really loud. I've headed downtown this morning because I have a really cool conference that I get to go to at the Ontario Parliament, which is that building right over there. You'll see it. I'll show you the outside. It's really cool. I've been inside it before, and I've been to the library there before, and it's a really neat building. It's really old, and I do like this park, although post-rain it's a little stinky. I did get a little bit of writing done today, probably not as much as I wanted to, because I was a little distracted about the fact that I have to do something a little new and different today, which is come all the way downtown. I'm still working away on one scene, which is a pretty pretty intense scene, but I'm really liking it. I'm just loving this story. I'm falling so hard for this story the more I work on it, and I'm really excited to keep going, and I'm really excited to finish it and start working on the second draft, because the second draft is where it just really starts to shine, I feel like. Here really early, which is the only kind of embarrassing thing, so I guess I'm just gonna kind of like walk around a little bit. I don't know, but I guess it's better to be super early than it is to be late, at least for me.
Temptation crept in, it didn't take much convincing. I'm not sure what love is, but I know what it isn't. But I know what it isn't. Don't know what you were thinking when you were double dipping. Did I cross your mind? Did you forget that I existed? I used to feel hurt, but I fixed my condition. Heard you want me back now. It's too late for that now. Maybe you could change your ways, but guess we'll never find out. 'Cause that's a road I'll never go down. If you thought that you loved me, well, trust me, you didn't. The proof's in your lies and
am home. Hello. I'm so like windblown right now. Windblown, and I'm looking in the mirror in case you're like, what is she doing? Yeah, I'm really windblown and like also slightly damp because it's like so humid and misting outside and it's gross. I hate this weather. I'm so nervous for summer. I just wanted to say that today was wonderful. I had a really great like networking day all morning and then good library work all afternoon. I've been doing some cataloging, which is really exciting for me. I wanted to tell you what I'm reading though, because I just started this book last night and I've been on such a good roll right now for books. I'm gonna forget the names of the authors, but the first book that I read recently that I loved is The Shadow of the Wind by I can't remember his name. It is so good. It is like a gothic mystery. The atmosphere was so good. The writing was phenomenal. I loved so much of that book. And then on the weekend, on Sunday, actually, I picked up The Great Alone by Kirsten Hanna. And that's probably my favorite book of hers. I've read The Nightingale and The Four Winds, and I didn't really like The Four Winds, and I kind of liked The Nightingale. I thought it was like an interesting enough story, but The Great Alone is really, really good. It follows a family that moves to Alaska in the wake of the father suffering from pretty intense PTSD from the Vietnam War. And it's kind of a coming of age story set in the Alaskan wilderness. And I loved it so much. I read that book in a single day, like an actual day, which is crazy. I haven't done that in a really long time, but I just really enjoyed it. And I was in a really big reading mood. So after that day of reading, I was a little tired though, and wanted to read something completely different. So I picked this up last night, and it is called The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence. I've wanted to read The Prince of Thorns by Mark Lawrence for a while, but I'm a little scared too because I've heard that it's a little intense. I've heard that it's really violent and the hero is kind of like an anti-hero, but I do want to read it because so far I'm really enjoying this book. I'm not that far into it. I'm only like 33 pages in. We are following a young girl whose name I don't think I'm going to be able to pronounce. Livira? It's Livira. Livira. She lives in a kind of dusty desert commune. I'm shutting the door because the oven's going off. She lives in a dusty desert commune with her family that gets attacked by these dog people. I'm seeing them as like a chupacabra style beast, but I don't know if that's entirely true or what Mark Lawrence wants me to see, but that's what I'm seeing. Her village gets attacked by that, and she basically gets kidnapped and swept off to go to this city. And that is all that has happened so far, but I'm really liking her as a character. She's actually really badass already. And I just think it's going to be a really good story, mainly just judging by the writing, because the writing is captivating and I'm hooked. So that's all I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to take a shower, wash the grossness off, and curl up, eat some pizza, and read. My cats are playing. Curl up, eat some pizza, and read. But first, I'm looking at some plants that are in desperate need of watering. So I'm going to do that really quickly. Hard to just like wake up and immediately be in an action scene and you're like her heart raced.
Sleepy. Wanted to go back to bed.
that monkey. I want him. I think my biggest struggle with writing is always impatience. I am so impatient with myself and with the process. And there's always this underlying sense of urgency with everything that I create that is both really exciting and really, really frustrating. I feel like I just want to rush through the process and I never take time to savor it. But at the same time, that rush of creativity is really, really wonderful. You always hear me talk about wanting to savor the process and slow down. And I think that's because that's always my biggest goal. My biggest goal is always to remind myself that the biggest goal is never to finish the work. It is to savor the process, because I've always written, I will always write. I've always been a writer at heart, and that will never change. And if I'm constantly just focused on finishing as some kind of goalpost so I can finally call myself a writer, even though I've finished things many times in my life and still struggle with calling myself a writer, if I'm always focused on that, I lose the fun of the actual process of being a capital W writer and doing the work. So this week I've really struggled with that because I haven't given myself a whole lot of time every morning because I've been so exhausted. I've only given myself about 45 minutes every morning to write, and I've written every single day, and that's fantastic, but I've only written like 500 words-ish, and that should be okay because that's actually fantastic, but it's just this impatience. I am well aware of the fact that in like a week I'm about to have so much more time on my hands. I will be unemployed, I will be looking for work, and I can focus a lot more on writing then, and yet I can't stop myself from feeling impatient. And I can't stop myself from accepting the fact that I can only show up for so much day to day right now, literally one more week left. And that's really frustrating with myself because I think that I feel like I'm in some kind of race just with myself, and that is really frustrating because it's harder for me to convince myself that I am not in a race with just me than it is for me to convince myself that I'm not in a race with anybody else. I find comparison comes and goes, and that kind of frustrating feeling of being behind everyone else comes and goes, but that constant feeling of I am letting myself down is ever present. And it's very isolating, and I think it's one of the reasons why I started this channel, because I think that writing is such an isolating experience, and it's really good to share the journey with everybody because otherwise it's just me alone in my thoughts, and that's a little terrifying to me. I mean, the truth is the bad side is few and far between, because it's not like I have delusions of grandeur over here thinking that I'm going to be some best-selling author. I think because I worked in publishing, I have a very realistic approach to the payoff of writing and the actual publishing of a book. I think that I have a good attitude towards that. It's just the fact that I just constantly feel like I'm taking too long to finish a project. And I don't know if that will ever go away, but that's what I'm sitting with this week, is that frustration with myself at feeling impatient. But today is Friday, and it is yet another beautiful day, and I just finished a little bit of writing, and that's it. That's all I can say. I'm proud of myself for showing up every single week, even if it was only for 45 minutes. I showed up and I wrote, and that's more than enough. It's more than showing up and not writing. I don't know what this vlog turned into. I don't know how many clips I got. To be honest, I've been so focused on my placement, and it has been so wonderful. I'm having such a good time, and I think that that's really the key thing. I always talk about balance being a verb, not a state of being. And currently right now, I am balancing my future career over my creative endeavors a little bit more. And that's fine, because sometimes the balance shifts back, and in a week the balance is going to forcibly shift back because there's not much I'm going to be able to do beyond applying to jobs and networking. So thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. I hope you are staying creative wherever you are, and I will see you in the next video.